This is experiment 5 in web technology. This is Sharika UR14CS122. So here the first experiment is we got to find the longest word in a string. And here so we are getting the input in a text box, and then in the button we have an on click thing, and when we click the button it goes to function find, and here we are getting the value in the text box and storing in a variable called string, and then we are splitting it using a split function, and then we are storing the first word in an array in a variable called total, and then we are using a for loop. If for loop from the first from index 1, so if the particular word is greater than our first word, and the loop goes on, then if it is greater, then it gets stored in a variable called ans, and then we display the answer gets displayed in the span id s1. So here we get the longest word in our string, and our next question is a BMI calculator. So for that the code is, here we get the weight in kilograms in our text box, and our height in our text box, and then once we click the button we go to the calculate function. In the calculate function we are getting the height from a text box and then storing in a variable called height, and then we are getting the weight from the text box and storing in variable weight, and then we are calculating the BMI using this particular formula, and then if the BMI is less than 18, we are in a variable called type, we are storing if it is underweight, and if it is 18 to 25 it is normal, if it is 25 to 30 is overweight, and more than 30 obese, and then this BMI gets displayed in the span id in our span id score, and then this type gets displayed in our id called type. So this is the output. So when we give the kilograms and meters, and when we press the button, here we get the BMI and then the type, the body type. And then the next question is the flower garden. So the code is, so here we are getting the number of rows in a text box and columns, and when we press the button we got to go to the function go, and here in an array we are storing two of our images, and then here we apply a math function, and then here we are getting the rows and storing in a variable rows, and the columns from the text box and storing it here, and then we have two for loops here, and then here as we click the button the image gets displayed in a particular span id. And our next question is a weightinator. So here we got to convert kilogram. If the user gives kilograms, it has to convert to pounds, and if the user enters the values in pounds, and we have to convert it into kilograms. For that the code is, here we have two list boxes, so that in one place the user can enter, in the other place it can display, and then we have a button here, and then inside function convert we are getting the values, and then if index 0, that is in my index 0 in my list box, here is also kg, here is also kg. So if both are kg, whatever the user enters, whatever that is the data, data is here the text box. So from the text box value you get the text box value and store it in A, and then if then you display the same A in a span id answer, and then if the index is 0 and index 1 is 1, that is in index 0 it is kg, and index 1 we have pounds. So we have to convert kg to pounds. So for that we store the data in A, and then we apply a particular formula kind of thing, and then we display x here. So our kilogram gets converted to pounds, and then in index 1 we have in this list box we have pounds, and index 0 it's kg, so we have to convert pounds to kg. So for that the same way we are getting the value from the text box and storing it in A, and we are doing the necessary calculation, and we are displaying it in answer. And then if both are pounds, again we needn't do anything, so we are just getting the data and displaying it as such here. So output. So this is what I was talking about index. This is index 0, this is index 1, and same with this index 0, index 1. So in kg, I give a value and I've got to convert it to pounds. I calculate and here's the answer. And then our next thing is to flip a coin. So whenever we click a button, the coin has to flip. So for that, the code is we get the we just have a flip we just have a button here, and then the two span IDs to display our to display the result, to display the count. This is S3 is used to display the count, how many times head we get heads and how many times tail gets is displayed in S4. And so from B1 is a text box, we get the number, we get the even is a button. So we get the thing and we get we use an action listener called event listener. So each time we click a button, the action gets performed. So inside the flip function, this we apply a math function, and then this we pass this variable inside the switch. And in case 0, h gets incremented, and that is whenever it is heads. When it is head gets incremented and it gets displayed in S3, and the image is a coin. This is the image for head. So we are storing the SRC of an image here. And in case 2, whenever it's tails, it gets incremented from 0 to 1, and then the number of tails gets displayed in S4, and it and that particular image, we are changing the image source here. And then the next thing is the pizza order form. For that the code is, so here. So we are getting the type of all the type of pizzas, everything in a text box, and then we use a radio button to get the tip. To get the tip, the amount of tip to be given, that we use a radio button. And then here's a function, and inside the function we get how many ever values of small pizzas the user wants and stores, and it gets stored in S, and medium pizzas and large in the same way. And then here tip, we are retrieving the value from the radio button. For that we use this. And then inside total, we calculate, we do all this necessary calculation, the total amount needed, and amount of tip. To get the amount of tip, we do this calculation. Then finally we add the total and the tip, and then the full total gets displayed as span ID price. So this is our experiment 5.